The state of California has seen a rash of smash and grabs all over not only Los Angeles County, but the rest of the state. We saw the Americana in Glendale get hit to the tune of several $100,000. We saw the similar incident happen in the San Fernando Valley at the Topanga Center. We also saw a Nike store in East LA get hit. And then there was another incident at the South Bay Galleria in Torrance. But one video of late has gone all over the place, viral, as they say. It was a jewelry store in El Monte, which, of course, is an independent city in eastern Los Angeles County, that got hit by a man who had staked out the store days before and was so suspicious, the family that runs the jewelry store made a mental note, and I believe even printed out a picture of the individual in question because they were so concerned about him coming back looking to rob jewelry from them. Well, he did come back, and he sprayed him with bear spray, and he brought a hammer to start smashing glass cases so he could steal the jewelry and take off. However, this family didn't allow their store to get robbed without fighting back. They fought back, and they chased him out with sticks. The guy lost his shirt while he was leaving, claimed to have a gun, and was able to get away. Joining us right now is a member of the Meza family, the owner of Meza Jewelry in El Monte, California. Welcome to the show.
Hi, this
Hi
is
there.
Rosanna.
Rosanna, thank you so much for stopping by, Rosanna. We so appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for taking your time of interviewing us, because this has to stop.
Let's
the smashing
start.
grabs, they have to stop.
How often is this something that you and your family have to think about? Because typically when you're running a store, and I come from a family of small business owners, you have to worry about making payroll. You have to worry about paying for your inventory. You have to worry about being current with your insurance. There's a million different headaches that you have to deal with without having to deal with someone sticking a gun in your face or macing you with bear spray or trying to rob you. How top of mind is crime for you and your family right now as you try to operate your business?
Well, right now, before this happened, we used to think about it, it's happened all over California, so we had to get prepared, So, but we never thought it was going to happen, so soon to us. So when this happened, we were, kind of in shock at first, and, it's terrible for a store, because we weren't prepared. We weren't prepared to pay extra payments to repair the store, and also, we've been working so hard for so many years. So when you see someone that it hurts your family, and then it tries to take your work, all your money away, because we work so much that it gets me mad. I can't even express myself right now because just by remembering I'm just mad and I feel like I can do nothing about it because there's no laws that support our businesses, small business.
Let's talk about the incident in question, because this guy had been in your store before and was acting so sketchy, you guys made a note of it. Is that true?
Yes. He came about 3 to 4 weeks ago. So my sister and my brother, they were here with my mom. So this guy was asking for the expensive stuff on the jewelry. So my brother was like, he looks suspicious to me, He looks like he was recording all over the store. No regular person does that, why he would do that. And then when I came for the thing that I had to do outside, he told me, and I just told him, you know what, record him in case of, he does something here, because there's been a lot of smash and grabs, and he looks so suspicious just doing that, checking the place and recording all the plays, It was so suspicious. So just record him on your phone. So if something happens, we could remember who he is, And then so he didn't. And then on Saturday we compared the pictures that we took from 3 to 4 weeks ago to the ones that it was to the ones on Saturday, and it's the same guy to us. It's the same, exactly same guy. So I'm just mad right now because I'm mad and sad because we need to repair our show. We need to waste money on what we weren't expecting.
When he came back, did you say to yourself, that's the guy that was taking us out 3 weeks ago, or did you not figure it out until after he robbed you?
I didn't figure it out until after because he had a mask on. So until he left and we checked the camera again. So that's when we see that it was the same guy. And by the body and how tall he was, we kind of had like a clue that it was him, and he had the same tattoo. So that's when we noticed it was the same guy.
And he was a big fat guy, right?
Yes, it was a big fat guy.
Now,
and he had tattoos all over the hands and the neck and on back of his on the back. So that's when we noticed it was him.
And so he brought the bear spray in with him when he came back the second time. How long did it take before he started macing you?
Like less than 30 seconds. It was really fast. At first, it maced my uncle. He was outside sitting down just to check who was coming in and out because, there's been a lot of break-ins into stores, so he was just aware, We always aware. He was outside sitting down, and then he sprayed on my uncle first into the eyes, and then he came in, and then he started breaking the showcase. Then he maced everyone else in the store. He just started spraying out on the eyes, directly to the eyes, and then he sprayed out like on the air,
But you guys fought back.
Immediately.
How did you fight back if you couldn't see anything? Because I've talked to people who have been maced before, and they say that you can't see anything when you get maced. How are you able to see them to hit them with the stick?
Honestly, I don't know. It was just like a reaction, As I said before, we've been working for this so much. We work at the Swami first for 10 years. We used to save our own money, so we just can't let him take everything, We had to do something.
And what was he saying as you guys were beating him with the stick?
I don't really remember because it was so fast. But somehow he got out of the store, and then when my brother was chasing him, my brother and my dad, he threatened my brother and my dad that he would be back and kill us, And I'm just I don't feel secure anymore in this city.
And he claimed that he had a gun. Did he ever show you the gun, or did he just say that he had one?
He just said that he had one. He just claimed that he had a gun. We never saw it, but it's better we didn't want to double check if he had it. We were kind of scared at that moment already.
So you have this big fat guy in your store busting up all the glass, busting everything up. How much damage was done to your store?
Right now, we're counting probably 20,000 plus whatever gold we can fix. So probably it goes up to 60,000.
And will your insurance policy pay for any of this, or is this all coming out of your own pocket?
It's coming out of our own pocket because at this time we didn't have insurance. We were trying to get, before this happened, we were trying to get insurance. So in case that something like this will happen. But it didn't give us time, so we couldn't get it before something like this happened. So right now, we're trying to get insurance already.
Now, we have a district attorney in L.A. County, George Gascon, who, as a point of policy, doesn't like to prosecute anyone. He thinks the people who rob the stores are the real victims, and the people who own the stores need to check their privilege. What do you say to people like him?
Well, first of all, we don't have any privilege, because we work so hard. So how's the privilege, And these people are robbing because they don't want to work, not because they were born poor and they can't have anything, So they have to work in order to have something, and they just want to grab someone else's property and damage their lives and just take it away like that. I don't think it's fair, So we need better laws to enforce against these criminals.
And we have laws at the state level, Prop 47, that doesn't even allow the cops to arrest people if they steal less than $950. So the cops say their hands are tied. There's nothing they can do unless they change the laws.
Yeah, we need politicians to work in favor to the good citizens, not to the criminals, So, and also we know, we have to choose our politicians very good. We have to see who we're choosing, because politicians, they're not working in favor to the small owners or to the regular citizens. They're just working in favor of them,
I would imagine that in your business where you put your blood, sweat, and tears, if you are robbed, you are maced with bear spray, and he threatens to come back and kill you with a gun, that would be traumatizing. Has your family been traumatized?
Well, yeah, because we had this feeling that something's gonna happen, that he's gonna come back. My brother, he's so anxious. I'm so anxious. Also, yesterday I saw the police. He was coming with a helmet, and then somehow I thought it was like this guy again, And then my heart started beating really fast. But it was just the police officer with the helmet, and so we're not okay right now. So.
Has anyone at the city, a council member, Hilda Solis, the supervisor, anyone come and talk to you about this and the trauma you guys have experienced?
Well, they show up. They've been so supportive. The mayor and the chief, the police chief, they show up on Tuesday, and we're very thankful that they're on our side.
Well, I'm so sorry that this happened to you and your family. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen in California. It shouldn't happen anywhere. And
it shouldn't happen anywhere, because we moved from Mexico because it was dangerous, and we come here and it's getting the same. We thought this country was safe, but it's not anymore.
I'll tell you, I've lived in California my entire life, and I've been to Mexico probably, 5 or 6 times this year. There are parts of Mexico. I go to Ensenada. I've been to Cancun, Puerto Vallarta. I feel safer in Mexico, in those parts of Mexico, than I do in many parts of Los Angeles. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's getting crazy here. We can live in peace because there's people that don't want to work, and there's politicians that they don't want to make laws against them, against these criminals.
Are you guys back open?
Yes, we're open. It's just that, we need the support of the audience, whoever wants to. We don't want free money. We just want whoever could buy from us. You guys are welcome. And we have even discounts, so we could pay all the repairs. And now we have to get like a new fence, so that way we could stop in the future criminals. And we're thinking on getting security also. So we need the support of the community, as you know.
If you're getting engaged, if you're celebrating an anniversary, if you're shopping for early Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, and you plan on buying some jewelry, definitely go down to El Monte and check out the Meza Jewelry Store in El Monte. They are a very hardworking small business. They've experienced this trauma, and the best way to support them and to support the victims of crime is to support them with your business. So if you're in the market for some jewelry right now, please go down and take a look at the Meza Jewelry Store in El Monte. Rosanna, I'm so sorry that all of this happened to you. You're very courageous for speaking out and telling your story, and your family is also courageous for not sitting down and just taking it, but fighting back, because you worked very hard to put that business together, that store together, and to establish a good name in your community. and some thief doesn't have the ability or shouldn't have the ability to take that away from you.
Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it a lot.
And what street are you on in El Monte?
At the Valley Mall. No, it's called Main Street now. It was back then. It was the Valley Mall. Now it's Main Street.
Okay, so Main Street in El Monte, Meza Jewelry. Rosanna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the support. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios. Mr. Randy Wang's at the sports desk in Culver City.
John, we've got a new poll showing that Adam Schiff,
at the end of the day,
is taking back the lead in the race for replacing Dianne Feinstein. And sometimes when you're in a tight race, you start to emulate your opponent, try to do what they do that you think is really popular. Katie Porter went on Fox 40 television in Sacramento, and she's starting to sound like the guy she's running against. Here's her answering a question about the Hollywood strikes.
So I think you want to continue to encourage there to be conversations, there to be negotiations. I think that's always an important thing. But at the end of the day, the studios need to have a plan. They need to have an answer to the question.
Maybe she's spending so much of her time watching tapes of Adam Schiff, it's stuck to her, too.
Here's the tape 10 seconds later.
Well, I think being in conversation with each other is the key to resolving any dispute. And I think we need to make sure that both sides are doing some listening here. But to be clear, at the end of the day, I think the workers are really pushing us to understand.
You know, before she became a politician, she was a college professor. And I don't know about you, Randy, but when I would sit in class and I would listen to the professor deliver the lecture, if they had a tick like that, I would not be able to pay attention to a word they had to say during the lecture, and all I would hear is the tick.
That's why I'm ruined anytime any guest on this show says the magic words.
Quite frankly.
Well, typically, Katie Porter's tick is to make a reference to food about literally everything. It doesn't matter if you're talking about economics, or it doesn't matter if you're talking about her choices in domestic violence. All of it involves food.
Well, that's why the Fox 40 Capitol reporter Etan Wallace decided he's just going to tee her up when he ran out of things to ask and asked Katie Porter directly about all of her time that she spends at the grocery stores.
You go to the grocery store. You see the everyday things that people are struggling with. I mean, is that part of the message of your campaign that you want people to know?
Yes, vote for me because I get groceries just like you do.
Do you think there's more food on the floor of her messy minivan than in your refrigerator?
It's definitely possible. The kids are eating snack packs.
Am I like the ordinary Californian?
Yeah, I mean, as a single mom of 3 kids, I go through the same ups and downs of a year as everybody else. I'm in the grocery store, and I'm relieved, frankly, when cereal comes.
Almost.
Oh, we got halfway there.
So close.
Of a year as everybody else. I'm in the grocery store, and I'm relieved, frankly, when cereal comes down by $1 a box. My kids eat a lot of it.
Is she claiming that she doesn't touch the Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No, although here's what I will say. The only fruits you see in her cart are on the Trix box.
Says right there on the box, Katie, those are for kids.
And I'm relieved, frankly, when cereal comes down by $1 a box. My kids eat a lot of it. Back to school time.
She single-handedly has kept Cookie Crisp in business.
Well, I think she's blaming the kids. I don't think it's the kids that's eating the cereal. I think it's her.
Now, do you think she's going classic style, pouring a bowl full, pouring in the milk, and then when the cereal runs out, pour more milk in, and then when the milk runs out, you pour more in? Or do you think she just eats it straight out of the box, like a snack?
No. There's definitely milk involved. And she definitely eats one of those cereals that is in no way healthy. What's the one? Cookie Crisp?
That's one of them. We're coming up to Halloween. Maybe she's going to get Count Chocula.
Well, Cookie Crisp really isn't nutritional at all. It's just you're eating a bowl full of chocolate chip cookies with milk.
Pretty much.
Okay, here's what I'm picturing. I'm picturing a punch bowl full of Cookie Crisp with additional sugar being poured on top.
Maybe you should do what I did as a kid, where you want to turn the milk into chocolate milk, so you put some Ovaltine in it.
This is kind of like the cereal version of ordering at In-N-Out Burger, isn't it?
My kids eat a lot.
We can do 3 hours. What cereal do you think Katie Porter's eating?
My kids eat a lot of it. Back to school time, I'm thinking about, are there going to be enough teachers? Are we facing a teacher turnover or burnout challenge following COVID? I'm thinking.
Teachers don't have enough housing when certain people are taking it up at UC Irvine.
How long will they let her stay in that housing when she's not teaching any courses there?
So far, we're on year 5.
I'm thinking about the cost of after-school care and child care, and thinking about the cost of college and the ability to get into and to thrive at our state universities. We're seeing more and more Californians go out of state to other states' universities. So I think people often say to me when I'm in the grocery store or at the gas station, they'll say, "I can't believe you're here." And I want to say back to them, I don't know any other way to get gas or groceries but come do it myself. And I think that grounding is something that I take with me every time I make that trip back and forth to Washington.
So is the allegation that Adam Schiff doesn't pump his own gas?
Can you imagine running into her at the gas station? You think she pays with cash or cards? What about smoking cigarettes? You think she's got a cigarette in her mouth when she's pumping the gas?
Oh, you're supposed to walk away from the pump if you're going to do that.
Those AM PMs, they offer a lot of impulse items when you walk through that door. Ding dong. You look over to the left. There's the cashier.
You mean this
Cashier's
one?
No, he's no dummy.
If the cashier is dummy.
You see all the lottery tickets on display. Then you see the candy bars, the Slim Jims, those pills for ED. Many items you can purchase there. Many, many, many items.
Is really taking what I see here on the ground in California and using it to inform my fights in Washington.
That's right. When Katie Porter's in Washington, she's constantly thinking of what she saw at the Food for Less.
Okay, what was that question about in the first place? Because I kind of got lost with the cereal talk.
You go to the grocery store. You see the everyday things that people are struggling with. I mean, is that part of the message of your campaign, that you want people to know?
He could have said the cost of insurance is going through the roof in California. Have you seen what it's like to buy a new car these days? How about an airplane ticket? No, not only does she go straight to the food, but so do the people asking the questions.
Hey, sometimes if you've researched your subject, you know what subject they're going to get very animated about.
Has she ever done an interview that we've played on this program where a question about food wasn't asked?
Not that I can remember.
How many times, honestly, how many times do we have guests on and I ask them a question about food?
It almost never happens.
That's right. Yet every single time she puts the pancake makeup on, not to reference food again, that's what they ask.
That's how people know her. She's the whiteboard lady, and she goes to the grocery store.
And pumps her own gas.
Now, at the beginning of this interview on Fox 40 with Eitan Wallace, Capitol reporter up there, he wanted to ask the very simple question of, how's your campaign going? And this could be a tough question to answer, especially when you're behind in the polls, or it could be an answer that you fill with absolutely nothing. There's as much nutritional content in this answer as there is in her cereal.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks for being with us. I know it's been really busy for you, Madam Congressmember. So I'm going to begin it right off the top with that by asking you, how's the campaign going?
It's been a terrific campaign so far, and I'm continuing to enjoy getting out into every part and pocket of California, getting to listen and to learn. The most important thing we need from our next senator is somebody who understands the challenges California is facing here on the ground. And in every part of California, rural, suburban, big city, small, and for every kind of Californian, people who are new to our great state, people who are lifelong Californians, and at different ages of life. So I've loved having these conversations.
There was nothing there.
That is a bucket full of cliches.
That is Rob Bonta level.
Every type of leadership is about meeting the moment and rising to the occasion, and this is what's required. And so we're stepping up and getting it done.
They would get fired at Hallmark.
She likes to say that she's not your traditional politician, but just listen to this in its entirety. She says absolutely nothing in 25 seconds.
It's been a terrific campaign so far, and I'm continuing to enjoy getting out into every part and pocket of California, getting to listen and to learn. The most important thing we need from our next senator is somebody who understands the challenges California is facing here on the ground. And in every part of California, rural, suburban, big city, small, and for every kind of Californian, people who are new to our great state, people who are lifelong Californians, and at different ages of life. So I've loved having these conversations.
I would call that word salad, but I'm not going to.
How about word cereal?
Well, what do they call that one with all the alphabets?
I think they call it alphabet.
Okay.
That way you're learning while you're eating. Okay, now, when we finally get to some substantial parts of this interview, since Katie Porter spent last week in the city by the bay, San Francisco, she got asked what she thinks about the hellscape that San Francisco has turned into.
Is a good transition for me to transition, if you will, a little bit to San Francisco. I know it's been a few...
Good on Fox 40 for posting this unedited interview, because they don't usually do that.
No, and it gives us fodder for days.
A few weeks since you were last there. You did a meet and greet there. Let me ask you just your overall thoughts. It's gotten a lot of attention, the situation there. Overall, what is your take on the status, the situation in the city on homelessness, on drugs, on fentanyl?
Well, I would say the challenges that San Francisco is facing may be different in degree than we're seeing in some places in California, but they're not different in kind. Fentanyl is costing us lives across California.
Wait, that's the answer? Fentanyl's killing everyone everywhere.
It's not just a San Francisco thing. Fentanyl's killing people all up and down the state.
Not just in San Francisco. Homelessness is a problem in really every California community, not just in San Francisco. So I think as a federal leader, my job is to think about how can we be a good partner in bringing these solutions and the best solutions we can home to San Francisco, do the learning, see what works and doesn't, and then begin to deploy it around California.
So the translation for that one is, that's where the donors are. I'm not going to say anything bad about San Francisco.
No, but that's such a stupid move strategically, because the people who live there with the money don't want to look at that on their streets. They want it fixed. And if you're an incumbent member of Congress and your point of view on the subject is, I need to bring money back from Washington, D.C. to continue funding the programs that aren't working, that's not an answer.
Speaking of money, she was then asked about cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles spending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to solve the homeless problem, and it just keeps getting worse.
In terms of what works and what doesn't, what do you say to many actually Californians, what do you say to Californians who see the government spending billions of dollars to address homelessness but don't see many results?
Well, chronic street homelessness, the kind that's most visible to us when we think about people, for example, being unsheltered or living in tents, that is really the tip of a much, much bigger housing affordability iceberg.
Oh, we're going straight into it.
No. I understand why the people at the city level and the county level answer the question that way, because it's the developers that line their pockets. And if you say that the homeless problem is created by a lack of affordable housing, then that gives you the green light to raise everyone's taxes so you can then turn around and dump Brinks trucks full of money into your developer donors' pockets so they then can get contracts with the government and they can turn around and give some of that money back to you in the form of campaign contributions, or they can hire your friends and relatives or provide a job for you should you lose your reelection bid. But if you're a federal official, developers don't need anything from them. It's not like you're a member of a board of supervisors or you're a city council person that appoints the planning commissioners, those sorts of things. There's no reason for you to answer that question that way unless you just want to take a pass entirely, which is what she's doing.
Well, chronic street homelessness, the kind that's most visible to us when we think about people, for example, being unsheltered or living in tents, that is really the tip of a much, much bigger housing affordability iceberg. So we can spend the money to put people who are experiencing homelessness into permanent supportive housing, but if we don't fundamentally make a big federal investment in making sure workers can afford housing, we're just going to continue to see that population grow and change. So I think we have to definitely address how do we help those who are in this situation, but we can't stop there. We need leaders in Washington who are thinking forward, as I've tried to, about how do we bring down the cost of housing.
What she wants to do is essentially say, if you pass my entire program, that will lift everyone up, including the homeless. So let's do universal health care, and let's do global warming, green energy subsidies, and let's do everything else on my wish list, and that alone will take care of the homeless crisis.
Last question of relevance in this interview. Katie Porter got asked about Dianne Feinstein and Mitch McConnell having mush for brains.
I'm just curious. It's in the news recently of sensitive matter, but it's Mitch McConnell, freezing up. I know you have Dianne Feinstein. It's a tough image, if you will. Do you feel there should be some sort of age limit or term limits for members of Congress?
Well, we know that diversity makes any decision-making process stronger. And that is also true for multi-generational diversity. So I think
that's a new one.
So I think it's important that our Senate, that our Congress, our politics generally have a mix of people from different generations and different ages.
We need some 5-year-olds in there.
Here's the backstory to this, by the way. When she wrote her book about her minivan being a slobmobile, and she was out promoting it, one of the passages that was revealed was a passage where she complained about Nancy Pelosi and the other old ladies who were in important positions in the House of Representatives. And she said, because old ladies run the place, all of their kids are adults. All of their kids are grown-ups. They don't have to worry about things like childcare. So Pelosi put her on a committee, and one of the first things that Katie Porter did was tell them to change the schedule around because it didn't work for her childcare situation. Pelosi told her to go pound sand, and then she got back at Pelosi by saying nasty things about her in her book and calling her and all of Pelosi's allies in the House old ladies.
Just like we think about that with race, with gender, with any other characteristic. We want to have people who have gone to college in an age of 6-figure student loans. We want to have people at the table who remember when college was free with the GI Bill. We want both of those kinds of people in conversation, and I think it's important that we keep our Senate and our Congress vital and reflecting the full range of America. And to do that, I think we need to make an investment in multi-generational leadership. We want to keep the senior people, keep the experiences, keep the learning and the mentoring.
Is she having a Peter Brady moment?
Maybe this is her situation. When Newsom starts to get uncomfortable and he starts to tell whoppers, he turns into a train whistle.
I don't know why we're so damn sheepish.
She's doing the same thing.
In multi-generational leadership, we want to keep the senior people, keep the experiences, keep the learning and the mentoring, but add to it some of the fresh perspectives that we have.
She was getting real close to like a country song key change.
That answer is a whole lot more delicious, to borrow another food term, when you know that she and the old people hate one another.
I can't wait to check the email bag when we go to break.
You're not going to be able to read any of them on the air. I haven't looked at it, but I can tell you you're not.
JohnnyDon'tLikeShow@gmail.com. That's JohnnyDon'tLikeShow@gmail.com.
You do realize if this Berkeley poll is accurate, we're going to have a choice in November between Katie Porter and Adam Schiff.
At the end of the day,
that's like having the choice of being shot in the face or the chest. Which one will kill you first? That's going to be my choice.